The one with Ethan Hawke, who kidnaps the children.
Oh, the black phone.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Blackthorn.
Is the accent.
Or Blackthorn.
And then we're done. We can talk.
We're back.
Say it, Sue.
Who am I? What am I doing here?
Patty's movie. What is
Yeah.
it?
My movie is Prisoner. It's from 2013. It's written by Aaron Guzgowski, directed by Denis Villeneuve. And this is one of my favorite movies.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Anna, wait until we're invited.
Oh, for God's sake, Keller, get the hell in here.
What?
He actually sings in the shower. So
I do not.
yes, you do.
Can I take Joy to our house?
And wear a hat, please. You're just getting over a cold.
Joe, you wear a hat too.
Where are your sisters?
I can't find them.
Anna? Joy?
Wait, I checked the entire house. They're not here.
Dad, there was this RV and they were playing on it. We thought there was someone inside.
You wait here.
Let me go.
I couldn't find them!
Detective Loki.
Do you have children, detective?
I'm gonna find your daughter.
Show me your hands right now!
You put those girls somewhere else. No. I know you put those girls somewhere.
He stays in custody until my daughter's found, right?
We have a 48-hour hold on. It ends tomorrow unless we bring charges.
We'll charge him with something.
That boy has never been in trouble, not a day in his life.
Well, this thing's clean. I'd start looking in the woods by the rest stop.
The police said they're letting him go today.
What you doing? Tell me! Oh, no! Day 6. And every day, she's wondering why I'm not there.
You told us that you could protect us from everything.
Why did you look for my daughter? Alex.
What in the world did you do?
Someone has to make him talk, or they're gonna die.
We're not gonna help Keller, but we won't stop him either. Let him do what he needs to.
I know you know where they are. Where's my daughter?
Ooh, creepy.
I know, even watching that is just the best.
Where's his daughter?
Where are my dragons?
Yes. Yeah, same thing. Okay, so this movie is got Jake Gyllenhaal. He plays the detective. Hugh Jackman, Viola Davis, Terrence Howard, Maria Bello. They play the parents of these two girls that have disappeared, and they're little girls. Paul Dano plays brilliantly.
Oh, my God.
He plays the suspect, and Melissa Leo, who's fabulous in this, and she's one of my favorite actresses, plays the mother of Paul Dano. So basically, you're watching two people look for two children, and that is the detective, which is Jake Gyllenhaal, and Hugh Jackman, who is the father. So this goes, it's going to sound jagged, but that's how it goes, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So a family is visiting another family for Thanksgiving, and they let the girls out to play, and they disappear. The only kind of clue they have is a motorhome that was sitting out on the street when the girls arrived. They arrest the driver of the motorhome, Paul Dano, but there is no evidence in the motorhome, and that Alex, they find out later, Alex, which is Paul Dano, has the IQ of like a 10-year-old. So you're always getting clues about one or the other, like yes, he's guilty. No, he's not guilty. Look how much I wrote. I didn't write anything for Maverick. Okay.
Me neither.
Then the detective, Jake Gyllenhaal, visits a sex offender and priest who has a corpse in his basement. The priest tells him that this corpse has confessed to him that he's killed 16 children, and so he leaves them there to die. You think, what the hell's that got to do with anything, right? But it's the death of child, right? And then all of a sudden it switches over back to Hugh Jackman, who is going crazy, and he really becomes such a freaking asshole. But I've never lost a child, so who knows what you become. I think the title Prisoners say it all, because there's prisoners in all of these. Alex tells the father, while the investigation is going on, they give you little hints that maybe Alex is involved, which is Paul Dano, and that he tells something the girl said to him, and then he sings a song about him, about what the girls sing. And so you're always thinking, oh, it's Paul Dano. And you don't know. You know what I mean? Because then there's all this other stuff that makes it not Paul Dano. Oh, dear. Hugh Jackman gets at his breaking point, and I'm leaving out a lot of stuff I know. And he kidnaps him, and he kind of tortures him. And the other parents don't seem to mind. They don't like it, but they don't
initially like it.
And what he does is Detective Jake Gyllenhaal notices a suspicious guy. Now they're switching over to the detective. He notices this guy in a vigil that they're holding for the girls, and he's acting suspicious, and he chases him. Well, later on, he finds where he lives, and the house is filled with, and I've yet to find the symbolism of the snakes. Snakes in these carriers.
I agree. I don't get that either.
There's probably one, I don't know.
It's usually a religious thing.
Yeah, and bloody children's clothing, and the kid is totally fascinated with Maze, but he ends up killing himself. So you're left with pieces of information. Now there you see, I'm not going to go much further than this because it'll give it away. But my God, the ending is so good. When you find out who it is and what happens to everybody. But this movie really is about the prisons we make for ourselves. But also, too, Hugh Jackman can be such a dick on film because he plays such a great dick on this. But as I said, I have not lost children, so what would I know? But it's really interesting. This is a great movie. They had a ulterior, what do you call it? Another ending. Which I'm glad they didn't use because the ending they used was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I more or less agree with you, Patty. I was sort of fascinated by this movie. I thought, okay, it's going to be pretty bleak, pretty dark. As you see, it takes place during Thanksgiving, so the weather's not sort of, inviting or anything.
It's Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. So then it's like, okay. And I thought, now, once the incident happens, when the two girls do not come back, that's when they get worried, And you have two sets of parents. So you have, they said you have Maria Bello and Hugh Jackman's characters, and then you have Viola Davis and Terrence Howard's characters. They're both concerned. They both have other children, too, at the time point, but it's the young girls that have disappeared. Again, that's sort of the motivation, at least for Hugh Jackman, because the one thing, unfortunately, is his wife is the one who truly falls apart.
Yeah.
Maria Bello, you're right, I think is a great actress.
She really
is a good actress, so she's solid. Then it's like, okay, when I watched this movie, I was thinking, well, aren't they going to check, the house that's in front of it? So it's like, okay, then you get involved with the next door neighbor's family where Paul Dano lives. Now, his character reveals something that okay, something's wrong. So that he has a clue to something, but only Hugh Jackman is the only character who knows what the clue is. And that's where it sort of gets weird to me, because that's where you can see he becomes obsessed with the Paul Dano character, whereas Jake Gyllenhaal, the investigator about it, he just broadly has to just think about everything.
Right.
Now, once he kidnaps Paul Dano, you're right. That's just like, okay.
That's hard.
This literally, he just lost my sympathy because he's just going to another route he just did something that happened to his daughter.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, right there's something wrong with him, in my opinion, right there. But again, you sort of know he's motivated. Like, you're only thinking, he'll get it out of him somehow or something. And yet, to see it just happens that every single character who's then now drawn into that drama I'm thinking, oh, this is sort of like the worst I'm seeing in humanity now. Literally. It's like,
Yep.
wow, okay, he did this. Now the two other parents, like you said, you heard Viola Davis. No, let him get on with the investigation. We won't get involved, but we won't say
We'll
anything.
let you do it. But
And it's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Is that what you guys do? And Maria Bello has her character, the mother of one of the girls, is kept out of it completely. Because like I said, she just mentally cannot handle what's going on.
Right.
So it is sort of heartbreaking when you see that. So you understand, you're right, about Hugh Jackman's motivation.
Right.
There are other people who are in it I thought was sort of interesting. Well, they just have like tiny roles, but I was sort of surprised that Dennis Christopher was given a credit. He plays, the next door neighbor, Paul Dano, is there. He lives with his mother, played by Melissa Leo.
She's fabulous in this.
Dennis Christopher played her husband, apparently.
That was Dennis Christopher.
He was in the pictures. Then you see David Malchian, who, if you ever watch these Denis Villeneuve films, he's in like 3 of them. He was in Blade Runner. He was in Dune. Mm-hmm. So he's a regular. So I thought, oh, that was interesting that even back then he was in his films. So it was sort of entertaining for me. Jake Gyllenhaal's character, though, is the one that I sort of stuck with because there seemed to at least be a seemingly moral center ground, at least for him, that I could buy. Because everything he tried to do, at first he's trying to really, like you saw him, just keep him in jail. He tried to do everything to keep him in jail, but he couldn't. Right. Then he still has to do an investigation. So when he comes across these odd little things about missing children, then he realized, oh, maybe there's a pattern. So he has to go and invest other missing children. Right. That's when it's like I said, okay, I'm glad to see that part. Yeah. But like you said, they keep switching back to this horrible part, then to this part.
Hugh Jackman. Oh,
and yet the way it culminates to the end, I thought it does have a very good, a climax and conclusion. Mm. And so I would recommend it. I think the performances of everybody in it are very good. Even the young kids in it and stuff. Yeah. I thought they were all good. But Paul Dano, I had to admit, I thought that is great performance because that is such a sad, creepy. Mm-hmm. He does everything on screen and he keeps almost an entirely blank face. Yeah. And that's the weird part. That's how I know you're really reacting to the people around him that are bouncing off of him.
Patty thought he should have got an Academy Award for that role.
I did.
I can understand that, again, because it's such an unusual role to play. Because at one point I was confused. There's something that happens on very often with the camper or the RV or whatever you want to call it, where he's caught. And there's something I didn't understand that happened because it crashes and everything. And I thought, did he do this? Did he do this? But then I realized what you said about his mentality, that he's not all there.
He's 10 years old.
So,
and they don't really, we have to figure that out in time with Jake.
Yes. And that's that's at least the key to, at least if you get caught into suspense. I didn't get caught up into suspense because, like I said, I just thought Hugh Jackman was creepy. In fact, at one point I'm thinking, God, maybe his daughter should be dead because what he's going to do is just... It's going to kill his emotion. It's going to kill his wife, basically, right?
He's the emotion, and Jake Gyllenhaal is logic, and you really see the two down a river.
Well, that's the thing. Jake Gyllenhaal even loses his temper at times. You can see that, but because he knows that he has a certain window of a missing child, that you have to find them before a certain point, otherwise they don't come back.
And these people are all crazy.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying about the mentally people. But,
well, they are.
But there is a movie I recommend. I do warn you, though. I think it's sort of it is dark. It is very dark, and yet it's also And I just thought it was a very good solid drama. If you want to see drama dealing with that, because that's the problem I have. I think that's got to be one of the worst things in the world is a parent to either lose a child and or suffer the death of a child. Right? That's got to be one of the worst things in life, but I will never experience.
Me either, but I like that. George, what do you think?
Yeah, this movie is heavy. It's this heavy movie. It's actually kind of reminded me of Black Phone, which came out later. I thought
Black Phone.
Black Phone.
You didn't watch Black Phone. I remember this.
Black Phone.
That was the Blue House movie.
It's similar concept. Actually.
Yeah,
the one with Ethan Hawke. who kidnaps the children.
Oh, the black phone.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you said Blackthorn.
It's the accent.
Or Blackthorn. Yeah.
So I thought that Wolverine should have got an Oscar for this.
Yeah, me too. Actually.
But also I thought that Paul Dano should have gotten an Oscar for it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Paul Dano was the Wolverine. Hugh Jackman and Paul Dano were just great. And,
I thought
and Hugh
Melissa
Jackman
Leo should too.
All of them. It's just the.
She kept reminding me of Sunny.
Whenever I see a movie that has Jake Gyllenhaal in
Like a
it,
Midwestern.
Sorry, George.
anything that has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, I know it's gonna be weird. It's just really weird.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be heavy,
Intense.
intense.
Bubble Boy?
Oh.
He was weird.
I agree.
What the hell Batman did? Oh, so yeah, Paul Dano is just constantly typecast as a weird character.
Yeah.
But I think he's even in the last Batman movie, he plays a character at the end, which I think might be one of the. I don't know if it's the Joker or because he's just so weird. So
He can play
he's
weird
a
better
weird
than
character.
anybody.
Well, I tell people, I also, because of Oscars, I watched The Fabelmans, and he just played a dad.
Oh, yeah,
he was
he did.
so
He did,
good.
yes.
at it.
Oh, he's
He was
Steven
so good.
Spielberg, isn't he? In that
No,
movie?
he's his
No, he's the father.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I'm sorry, George. Go ahead. While doing it.
Oh, so the movie has a.
Back up, George.
The movie has because Hugh Jackman, he's just the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, he's totally. I hate it like a character.
Yeah.
What an asshole! But the movie shows that you have a Jake Gyllenhaal as a detective, and he's going by the book, being very zen, and Hugh Jackman was just told us, "Oh, fuck you." But they, in a way, they both reach the same conclusion through different means.
Yeah.
So the movie shows you that too, because Hugh Jackman's character gets a lot of info from Paul Dano's character that Jake Gyllenhaal doesn't. So but you don't know if that's true or not. But he kind of reaches the same conclusion through an asshole way.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'll kick your ass, which is
Pound the
terrible,
shit out of you
awful.
until
It's
I can't
terrible,
get
awful.
anything.
It's terrible. Is that what I wrote? Yeah. So yeah, it's very disturbing movie, but it's very entertaining too. It just kept me entertained the whole time. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Bob?
It's astonishing. I don't agree that Hugh Jackman's character is an asshole. I think he's a guy pushed beyond the edge. And I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose a child, and especially when, in a case like this, where as has been pointed out, he's listening to what the Paul Dano character is saying, and so he knows that there's something here that other people are not giving the attention they should be giving to. He's very frustrated by it, and it drives him to the point. And when it gets to the point where there's like he's just torturing this guy so viciously, it's like. Would I go that far? I wish I could say absolutely not, but I don't know.
No.
I don't know. If it's someone I love and something happened to them, I don't know what. Thank God I hope I will never have to know that because I don't know what I'm capable of. I've seen the dark side of my anger come out at times where I was guided away from it. That's all I'll say on that. But I thought everybody in this movie was perfect. Yeah. And it's interesting because I saw the movie when it first came out on video. And there is something at the end of this movie that I would just say, make sure you watch it with subtitles at the end of the movie. Because there's something that I missed completely.
I totally get that.
I missed it completely, and I thought the ending of the movie was very different from what it was. I had a very strong memory of it from so long ago.
That would be an interesting ending too. That'd be like the third ending.
Well, yeah, but so I mean, and I think I liked it better this way.
Yeah, me too.
But it was like I thought it was a movie that ended a certain way all these years, and I thought. Well, I know I liked. I wouldn't say I liked. I was impressed with it. I thought this is like a director I want to see. And then the next movie he made was something called Enemy, with Jake Gyllenhaal, which was like maybe the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Can't have all good ones.
It's so bad, and I haven't. I mean, as I was saying before, I think when we weren't on camera with Blade Runner, with the Blade Runner sequel. I didn't think it was a great movie until Harrison Ford showed up in it. And then all of a sudden you've got that movie star presence, which Ryan Gosling does not have yet. Ryan Gosling's a good actor, but he's not a movie star in the way that Harrison Ford is. And it's just made a difference to the energy in the movie.
Yeah.
I think that this man, Denis Villeneuve, uses music great. I mean,
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
The soundtrack was great.
I didn't care for Sicario, but man, when those trucks were going into the tunnel and going through, that was like a monster movie, and the music that was playing, and it was like
the movie in this movie was perfect.
The music in this movie was perfect too, and I also liked in Arrival. I thought he used music really great, but I don't care for his movies that much. But this one, looking back at it and seeing the way it actually ends, I'd say this. I don't have any real complaints about this movie. I'm glad I saw it again. I'm glad we picked that movie because I would have had a memory of it that was off.
That would have been an interesting ending. Because I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen that ending like that.
Well, I thought as I was watching the movie, I said, okay, I see why it ends the way I remembered it ending.
Right.
And I don't argue with the ending, but I would rather it ended a different way.
And it did.
And it did. Yeah. So.
Okay.
It's funny because also I was saying that I remember we saw the movie when it came out, and my memory was a completely different ending too. So I wonder if something weird that they did that makes everybody remember it differently.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now that I think of it too, I would certainly be more interested. I had no interest in seeing Dune. I thought it's a creepy story.
Yeah,
I didn't like the David Lynch.
I'm not a Dune girl.
But I'd sure be interested to see what this guy does next. Now that I've seen this ending to it.
Okay, Sue.
Okay. In this movie, the question is, who's the monster?
Yeah,
you know,
true.
that it's a Thanksgiving dinner, best friends in a neighborhood. Excuse me, my voice is going. And all of a sudden, 2 young girls have disappeared, their children. Of course, everyone is frantic, including the parents, but Keller Dover, who is Hugh Jackson, takes the Kings.
You said Jackman.
Jackman.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine.
Wolverine. There you go.
Wolverine. And Gyllenhaal, by the way.
Yeah. And takes the cake in franticness, right? The movie starts with it's really got a good beginning. It's like there's a deer, and somebody is shooting the deer. And then the shot pulls back and you see a child, a young boy, right, being encouraged by his father to kill this deer, right? On the way home, he tells his son how proud he is of him, and the father, Keller Dover, Hugh Jackman. I wrote it as Jackson.
Jackman Brothers.
We can see that this is a certain kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, the pickup, the gun, the
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. He's wound very tight, to say the least. Okay, so these children disappear. And there was an RV van in the neighborhood that we noticed when he pulls up, right?
I just said all this.
Yeah, okay, earlier in the day, and now it's gone. The driver of the RV is tracked down, and he is an odd kid named Alex Jones, played brilliantly by Paul Dano. You can tell something is not right with him right off. He's just not right. When Jake Gyllenhaal enters the movie, I'm more comfortable because he's a detective. And he approaches it like a detective, as opposed to all these crazy people. The family is like crazy people. It's like that. I would never be Hugh Jackman. I would never be Hugh Jackman.
Never say never, so
no,
you never
I would
know.
not. I can guarantee you, I would never be Hugh Jackman. And the other one, the wife, she's got like pills and pills and pills to just knock herself out. The other, I was just shocked by their behavior. I was just like shocked. I'm not like the best parent in the world, but I would never have taken those 2 options.
You never know, Sue.
Right? No, I
Jenny
do know.
was kidnapped. I don't know. I could be Hugh Jackman.
Well, you could. but I couldn't.
On a side
The
note,
hell does that mean?
on a side note, who was the detective in Lovely Bones?
In what?
Lovely Bones.
Who was what?
Who's
The
the detective?
In Lovely Bones.
I've never seen it,
It wasn't Jake Gyllenhaal?
Great movie.
Oh, it may have been.
I don't
No,
remember.
it wasn't Jake Gyllenhaal.
No? Okay.
No.
But
There's no
I
T
like
in there.
it. But that,
He reminded me of that kind of character.
because in this
We're gonna look
movie,
it up.
even though it's
Right
like
there on the screen.
it's a
Not
kidnapping.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Because
Gyllenhaal.
the
Gyllenhaal, actually.
the character,
Not in
the
Lovely
detective in
Bones.
Lovely Bones
Who is it?
reminded me of Jake Gyllenhaal too.
Yeah, the character of the detective brings a certain order
Yeah,
to the
so
situation.
it's about the same order. Yes.
and a calmness to the situation where these people are just going insane and are not helping the situation from my point of view, right? It's like they're just causing mayhem, right? But
They're prisoners of their own personal drama.
they just don't know how to handle it, and so they flip out, which is
Well,
not helping.
wait.
Kidnapping movies are not my cup of tea. But because you don't really see that's really kind of it's happening, but you don't see it. In other words, you don't see the children, you don't see the kidnapping, you don't see anything.
In the movie later on.
But you don't see any of what they have to endure.
Right.
So it's not
based on the kid's experience.
No.
Right.
So it's really the solving of this the crime.
Right.
And so that's why I enjoyed the movie. And I also thought it was interesting because, again, it just switched roles. Who's the monster?
Yeah, that's true.
Are they any worse than them?
The monsters aren't who you think they are.
Well, the monsters, are they any worse than the parents? No.
Well, I think they're part of the monsters.
They are the monsters. But
There's some of them.
No, they all are. All the parents are monsters. They
And
all
other
know.
people too.
Okay, but this is different. It's like, who's the bad guys and who are the good guys?
Right.
It becomes, that's the question.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
So I found that really interesting. Also, I liked the ending. I liked that it was not defined, because that guy is not a guy. He's like, he is not an innocent in this. But on the other hand,
it's tricky. Yeah.
yes, because
That's why the ending is so
very
good.
tricky, very tricky.
You never know either way.
Well, yeah, because in a sense, he is the same. He is the same.
In some ways, yeah.
So
Who are the monsters? That's the perfect question.
Yes.
And everybody's guilty in something except the wife who knocked herself out.
she's guilty.
In some
Just
ways,
because
yeah.
you don't knock yourself out.
Yeah. Okay, Lon.
What?
What's your score?
I
Oh
give
my
this-
God. Be good here.
No, it's just that, like I said, it's pretty dark, but I gave this a 6. Yeah.
Oh, you disappoint me.
I would say, like, with the exception of Maverick, I say all these movies, dinosaur around, I give it a 9.
Oh, you don't do it.
What did you give it?
9.
Nine.
I give it a 9.
I give it a 10. It was good.
Look, yeah, but, oh, right, Bob. I give it a 10 because this is one of my favorite movies. Okay, Sue.
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay. So that ends our episode 60. Hope you enjoyed it. I did a part for the end.
Oh.
But we are going to have the outtakes of the fist fight that takes place afterwards. So make sure you watch.
Okay.
I should do a video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Adios. Adios.
Thank you.
Yeah.